I've been touring. I finished my tour this year. And which was cool. It was just a bunch of scattered dates, but it was really, really fun. Yeah. And I appreciate everyone that came to the tour. But I've been opening for Felipe Esparza, and because comedy got ugly for a lot of people. Yeah. With the TikTok stuff and the pandemic shutdowns of things, like it's gotten really hard for people to headline. And I'll fucking take any gig at this point. I don't mind. But last year I hit up Felipe and his wife Lisa, and I was like, hey, I was like, you guys got any dates? So they've been giving me a lot of dates, which has been so cool. Because being on the road with him is so nice. Like first of all, extremely. For those that don't know, Felipe Esparza is extremely famous in the Mexican community. Yeah. But he has a lot of Latino fans of all backgrounds. But he's done a bunch of shit. He's like doing a bunch of little roles in Hollywood these days, which is really exciting to watch because I've been opening for him for like 15 years. Maybe.
That's what you're saying. You said you've known him for a minute.
I've known him a long time, but I've been opening for him for almost 15 years. And there was a long break that because I started shit started popping off for me quite a few years ago, and then shit started slowing down, just like with everybody else. But what I love being with Felipe because first of all, sometimes being on stage is like the only good thing about touring. And with him, it's everything. Like being on the road with him is so fun. The foods, everything you do, he always wants to like do not necessarily like go somewhere or like go to a museum or something, but he's down to explore. He's like really sociable. He's fun to watch in an airport. But one of my favorite things about opening for Felipe is being in the green room with him. Because first of all,
which can sometimes be hit or miss.
Exactly.
Green rooms are
exactly. We'll get to that. But I love being with Felipe because his green rooms are he's vegan, which people don't believe because he's so fat, which I think is hilarious. And I think Lizzo talked about that recently, which is also very funny. I'm like, oh, cool, she's talking about that. But his vegan spread that he has in green rooms is great. Because most people don't want fruits and vegetables in their green room. But also, like, the openers he has are so good. They're so nice to be around. Usually fun to talk about about comedy with. And I like working with Felipe because, like, I can ask him all, like how you will ask me a bunch of questions. I get to ask, because he's been doing this so much longer than I have. I get to ask him a bunch of questions. It's one of my favorite experiences working on the road with him. But being in the green room is like, to me, the best part of being on the road with him.
Which is so rare.
Super rare.
So rare, which you think it wouldn't be rare. You think, well, I feel like people who aren't in comedy, it's like, oh, the green room, you're chopping it up. Oh, you're back there with so-and-so. And sometimes you're like, nobody's talking to each other. And somebody may have died or committed murder. We're not sure.
And the writer is extremely selfish because people always think about, oh, what's on your writer? What's on your writer? I don't have anything on mine. I'm going to start putting stuff on because I'm like ready to. But Felipe's is cool because it's always like, obviously food for him, but everyone's welcome to indulge and it's nice. And also like the staff is always, because usually selling out a theater, so the staff is always like, does anybody want anything to drink? Like, what do you guys need? We're here for you. And you're just like, oh, this is so nice.
Have you ever questioned it though? Because I've definitely questioned it before where people are so kind, and because I've been used to like not the best green room. So when people come in are like, can I get you anything? And I'm like, oh, I was here to apologize for my existence.
No, I cannot relate to that. When someone's nice to me, I'm like, exactly. But like, I love being in his green rooms because I've had so many bad experiences, like what you're saying, in green rooms. And I feel like it's so frustrating for so many reasons. It can be, you never know what you're going to experience in a green room, especially as a woman. And my favorite, I was in a green room recently. It was a makeshift show. So I already kind of like made sure my standards were a little lower. Because I feel like that's a place to be like, okay, definitely not. I know I'm not going to get the best like experience or service here.
People don't always temper their expectations. They all like, if you've done a high quality show, you expect every single show you're going to, and you're like, this is kind of like a bar show, and also you said yes to this, so I'm confused.
Exactly.
Like what you were expecting by this.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And so I've learned to like be like, all right, let me not get my expectations up too high. But this one was especially awful. Because like man after man walked into that green room that was performing, and they just ignored me. And I would be like, hello. Like, I'm always like, what's up? Hey. Like, hey. To anyone that walks in. They would, one after one ignored me. And I was like, I've now also gotten to that point, and I'm almost 20 years in, where I'm like, if you guys are going to ignore me, I'm going to ignore you too. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't let this shit make me feel bad. It's uncomfortable to a point.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I'm supposed to be in here, so I don't give a fuck. That's usually my mentality is, I'm supposed to be in here. I don't even know if you guys are supposed to be in here. I know you and you from the flyer. But I don't know the rest of you fools.
Yeah.
And I always find it funny because it's so frustrating how it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, especially
that it still happens.
Exactly.
That's very frustrating. Well, so no hope. Okay. no hope, Marcella, is what you're saying. Is
never
no
any hope. Never.
I've definitely felt like the same way, but I've never been one to enter rooms with a bunch of energy to begin with, just in general, like outside of comedy. I'm always like entering a room being like, I'm assessing everything just to like try and like check the vibe, just so I know like how to like conduct myself a little bit. Because I've been on the receiving end where people will just come in and like not read the room to be like, oh, like stuff's happening. So I'm always like, what the fuck's happening right here? And then I'll kind of like suss it out like that. But I've definitely also been on the receiving end of where like nobody's talking to me until they see somebody that they think has like high value and importance talking to me. And then they're like, oh, I guess I can talk to her too. And I was like, no, bitch, you weren't talking to me 5 minutes ago. You weren't acknowledging my existence. So like this isn't going to work. Like, I'm sorry, I don't play that.
Which is also true when you do well on the show. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh,
whoa, I didn't know. And you're just like, oh, of course you didn't know. But like at the end of the day, like you could treat me like a human.
Right.
Like I think there's a lot of peacocking going on in green rooms. My favorite green rooms though are obviously the ones that are like all queer lineups.
Sure.
Like it's just the most. And even on comedy festivals too, it's just like the most inviting and supportive environment. Like, oh my God, where are you from? Just like chopping it up, supporting you. Like, oh, like kill it. Even before you're going on stage, they're encouraging you. But it's the ones where they're obviously mostly like white men, or they'll start to fuck with me if they're like talking about sports, and then I like interject in, and they don't think I know anything.
Right.
And I'm just like schooling them, and they're like, oh. Okay, she's cool. Like I can talk to her, and I'm just like. Then you find out I'm gay, and then they're like, well, I can't fuck you, so I'm not gonna talk to you.
Oh God, that's another conversation. You know whose green rooms can be uncomfortable is Ralph Barbosa's, because it's like a lot of young men.
Oh,
and
okay,
I generally don't feel like old.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually like, oh, I'm fine. I can fit in with anybody.
Yeah.
And because I can. But man, when you get a bunch of young men in a green room, it's just like it's kind of some of the worst people to be around because they're so like. First of all, they're so horny.
Yes.
And there's men that are young, and some of them that are older too. They're usually grimy as hell. They're like, if they don't consider you hot, they will not acknowledge you, talk to you. And it was funny because one of the nights, the girls in the green room were like, after I got off stage, they're like, oh my God, you were amazing. Right, which is fine. The hoes in the green room, whatever. Yeah. But and the guys like would not give me props, and I was like, whatever. I'm so like, again,
they wouldn't give you props at all.
No, it was just one of those things where I'm like, yep, this is how it goes sometimes when you're in a green room and you're opening for someone. I mean, talking about episode 1 rules. It's like. You want to kind of tell people, like, you need to have basic manners. I'm at work, I'm working right now, even though this is like a nightclub atmosphere in the sense of like drinks are flowing, vibes are what they are. But I'm always just like shocked when it's like, I'm being paid to be here, guys. Like, you guys aren't. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why the fuck you're being weird.
That's so crazy that they wouldn't even like say anything, because I feel like, I mean, I guess it's not crazy. I need to stop being shocked at the world is what I just need to stop and be like,
you need to get out more.
I do need to get out more. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And then the other funny thing that's been happening to me on this particular tour, which I found funny. I don't know, maybe because of After Midnight. I'm not sure what did it.
Yeah.
Or maybe my reputation continues to precede me. Ooh. But I would be in my green room, like I'm headlining, so it's my green room. That's like the perspective. And people were like, the openers were like scared to be in the green room with me.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And I was like, it's your green room too. You're working.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, there was one I was doing, I was closing out a festival. I forget where I was.
Yeah.
And only one comic went in there, and he was like, where is everybody? Like he and I were like chopping it up. It was fine. But at a certain point, he was like, where is everybody? Usually everybody's in here. I was like, I don't know. And am I not supposed to be in here? I'm like, you can be in here. I don't know what the problem. But I was like, and then once he went and he was like, I'm gonna go look for my friends. I never saw anyone in the green room again. It was so bizarre because I was like, we're all comedians. I mean, fine, you guys aren't going to steal
comedians,
anything.
but they're on the show. So, like, they're on but, like, that's a little weird to me because, like, even, no matter who I'm in the green room with, if I'm on the show, I have a right to be there.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't mean I have to, like, talk your ear off and we have to be best friends by the end, but it's like, I'm on the show, so I'm going to be here. So you're not going to tell me that I can't be here.
Right.
But that's crazy that they were afraid of you maybe being in there because the first time that I worked with you, I thought you created a great atmosphere. I mean, that's crazy.
I usually do. I usually put on music. If there's no music, I'm putting on music. I'm making sure we're all drinking or whatever. I know, it's so funny. It always cracks me up because I'm like, what the fuck do people think I'm going to be like?
Well, maybe they had a traumatic. I mean, I have had traumatic experiences with some headliners, like the green room, and I'm like, and I just kind of left being like, okay, maybe they had a bad date today. Like, I try to give people benefit of the doubts, especially like when they're traveling and all that type of shit.
What's a good one? Give me a good one.
A good green room story, or like a good one.
No, like a bad good.
A bad headliner didn't talk to me
at all.
That's
crazy. And even after you like said your hellos or introductions or whatever.
Yes, and when I tell you like. Because truthfully for me, like at that time, it was my first headliner gig. So it's the first time that I was hosting for somebody, and it was somebody that I looked up to.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, and it really rocked me a little bit because I wasn't like being like puppy dog like. I was doing what the host is supposed to do, which is just like making sure I'm getting your name pronunciation correct, and is there anything that you want me to bring you up to, and when she first walked in with her feature said hi to me.
She says she.
Oh, shut the fuck up. It could be, it could honestly be anyone because there are more women comedians now.
It could be any she.
It could be any she, her.
She might be a he now.
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone these days.
But her feature was absolutely sweet. And I was like, oh, maybe her feature's her buffer, or maybe she's having a bad day. But she didn't talk to me, and then she was very cold to me when I asked.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
And I was just like, I'm not trying to be friends. I'm not even striking up a conversation.
But just working.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm just trying to engage with you. And then when I brought her up on stage, because I think it was 2 shows that night. It was just the same energy throughout. And I was just like really disappointed, but it was one of those things since it was my first time ever hosting for somebody. And I think I was only like 2 or 3 years in. I was like, wow, so this is the industry.
Oh, that sucks.
It does suck. But honestly, ever since then, I've had pretty good experiences with headliners, like for the most part, honestly. It was just that one like experience.
It just sucks that's the first one. Yeah. That's what's a bummer about that story.
And I did give her the benefit of the doubt because I was like, I think she got in that day. It's cold, I was just like, okay, maybe she's just having like a bad day.
Yeah, but then the next night was she the same?
I only did one night.
Oh, okay.
But I only did one night, but then another person who I also know who hosted her, I was like, yo, what was the vibes you got? Like, was it just me? And he was like, nah, I still got the same vibes until he found out a certain credit that he did. Then she started talking to him and treating him differently. And I was like, cool.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, whatever. But it was also that moment where I was like, okay, this is where I need to start to like not take things personally.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I can't take this personally. And I still appreciate her work. Like, I'm not like, bitch. I'm just like, okay, whatever. That must be who you are.
Yeah. And it sucks because that's part of it. And that's part of why comedy is dead.
Yeah.
Because of adaptability.
Comedy is dead because of adaptability.
Comedy is dead because of adaptability. The people's inability to adapt and people's ability to adapt.
Yeah.
It's what's flowing and fluctuating, what's happening in comedy right now. Because even the comedy clubs having to adapt to what I was saying, like the shutdown, the COVID shutdowns, and the double strike has kind of fucked over a lot of stuff. Yeah. And venues have had to adapt, and some of them had to adapt in the worst way possible, which is we were just trying to pay our bills and stay open, so we're booking these awful TikTokers.
Which is crazy because I never thought in a million. I've shifted my stance on how I view that because when it first started happening, I was like, what the fuck are these, like, they're not. Like, one of my exes, she is like an influencer, but she forever earlier on was like, I do stand-up comedy. And I was like, okay, but like, you kind of don't.
You're right.
I was like, you can. You absolutely can. I was like, but right now in this moment, you don't.
Yeah.
So I would be like, why are these clubs, booking these TikTok people? But now I see it's just like, I heard there was like a Hollywood booker had said that it's up to their audience and their people to decide if they want to come back and watch this trash.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
right.
Yeah. And I get it. You got to pay the bills. So if they have 1 million followers and they're going to get people to pack the house, those people get to decide whether or not they want to come back.
Yes.
And I don't think like a lot of it's sustainable for them, because I feel like some people are coming and watching.
Yeah, for the individual, it's sustainable. If you can hit because there's so many venues across the country.
That's true. If you can hit all those venues. You can do
stand-up for a really long time, doing every venue one time. You absolutely can keep going for like probably 5 solid years all over the country, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But what you won't be able to do is be asked back, especially if you cannot do the time.
Yeah.
Don't respect the club and their employees and what their demands are, whatever they may be. And also, like, your fans are not about it, because I've heard so many people be like, we went to see so-and-so, and I'm not going back. It kind of sucked. It was really expensive.
And you're like, thank God.
Well, and that's the thing is, I remember, I think maybe 2 years ago, talking to a booker of a really popular venue, and she was like, yeah, we're hoping in the next couple of years this TikTok stuff kind of starts fading. But she's like, but we're getting to the point where, like, people we're not asking them back because it wasn't fun the first time, and it wasn't fun for their fans. Mm-hmm. And also, like, there's people who are not doing stand-up anymore because being on the road is
it's grueling,
difficult. It's so much. And
I say that as somebody who hasn't fully been on the road.
Yeah, but
just the mini road. I said I've had enough.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
People don't realize. I mean, I had someone like commending me because I'm still working the road, and I'm like, well, that's where the money is. There's so much money to be made on the road. But also, like, I fucking love doing stand-up. I love figuring out jokes. I also think I like being mad because I will lose my temper often when I'm on the road. And I'm just like, why am I still doing this? And I'm like, I think I like being mad. Some fathers go home and beat the dog, but we don't have that in my home.
Okay, yeah, no dog.
Because I don't have a dog to come home to. No. So I beat the audience, then I never return to the venue. Some TikTokers will go to the venue, go back because they suck. And I don't go back because I'm like, I didn't have a good time there. I'm not going back.
Now, Marcella, were you blaming the audience?
Yes, I was. Fuck the audience. Dude. Man, fuck some of these audiences. They just want the same awful shit over and over again.
It's true. But to that point, though, and like, fuck the audience and calling it out, like to the Jeselnik clip, since I finally am interpreting it correctly, because I was interpreting it a different way. I do personally enjoy watching people call out the audience, being like, you guys aren't really liking this, because when they laugh, I think there's like this, everybody becomes on the same page to where sometimes the audience is acknowledging, you know what? Yeah, I'm not your demographic for your jokes, but I'm appreciating that you're acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And still, like, up there, like, it's almost like an appreciation for you continuing your craft.
Sure.
In a way. At least for some of the times that I've witnessed it, because I'm like, I'm kind of laughing too. Like, when I'm not fucking with a comedian's shit, I laugh when they acknowledge that, because I'm like, no, I can see what you're doing. It's just not for me.
Right.
And I think that's funny. I think it's okay.
Not only do I think it's okay, it's good for comics to break their act, whatever their act may be, and go, fuck, I need to lean into this moment, because it's been wild how because of TikTok, people they're expecting crowd work.
Yes.
And like a lot of comedians aren't good at crowd work. But if you are, you can obviously lean on it whenever you want.
Yeah.
But I've learned in the last 2 years, it's gotten really, really bad, where it's like, I even had somebody on this tour come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're so good at crowd work, which, by the way, is not a thing audiences ever said before.
Yeah.
Audiences have never cared that people can do crowd work. Never.
Not since TikTok.
And now, I had this woman be like, we saw like so many comedians and only 4 of them did crowd work, and you were definitely the best one. And all I thought was like, bitch, why are you expecting crowd work?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to get into it with this old lady. She's not a real comedy fan. That's why she has this opinion. But I just find it so fucking weird. And I feel like, but when people do acknowledge and they go like, oh, you guys suck. This is tough. I need to pivot. which is, falling under the adaptability umbrella.
Yeah.
It allows you, A, to step into the crowd workspace. Yeah. And B, it allows the audience to see you kind of go, oh man, now what am I going to do? And I too enjoy that.
Yeah. Because you're living in the moment. And the reason that the audience is laughing is because there's truth in comedy. So they're telling the truth.
Right.
They're literally like, fuck.
Sometimes audiences are so drunk that they can all hear that you have an act.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Because sometimes I think comics don't understand how robotic they sound.
Yeah.
And what's funny too is, I don't know if you have this, but I have litmus test jokes that like if a joke hits hard up top, I'm like, oh, this whole set's going to be fine.
Yep.
But it's like, if you can't laugh at me calling myself a big old bitch in the context of the joke, I'm like, oh, this crowd is this is not going to be fun, and it's going to be work, or I have to like fight for my laughs, which I always think is funny when comics are like, I had to fight through that. And it's like, but why though? These motherfuckers are drunk and we have to fight through this shit.
I've definitely said that before, but I've definitely said it in the context of like, I was fighting for my life up there.
Yeah.
like, which there is something beautiful in like watching all of the comics just like struggle for just struggle the whole night, and you're like, yeah, this really is the fucking audience.
It really is.
There's
sometimes
really nothing that
in the same way that the same way that laughter is infectious, a bad mood is also infectious in a comedy club. I swear to God, it's crazy.
I will never forget like this moment lives rent free, because I think I was only like maybe 2 or 3 years in, and it was kind of like a late night show here at the Laugh Factory, and not a lot of people are there, and Clark Jones goes up before me, and I was like, fuck, like I was in my head, I was like, if Clark is going up before me, I'm fucked. Like, I'm fucked.
Right.
I was like, why would you do this? Why would you do this to me?
For those who don't know, what that means is that she knows him well enough that he's going to like do so well that it's going to be hard to go after him.
Yes. Thank you for that clarification. So I was like, well, I'm going to get buried. This is cool. And Clark is up there, and the audience is like not fucking with him at all. And I was like, oh
no.
Well, first of all, I was like, if they're not fucking with Clark, they're definitely not going to fuck with me. And I was laughing at his stuff, but I was like, they were not fucking with him. I was like, this audience is not fucking with him. And he gets off the stage. I don't know if he remembers this, but he gets off the stage. He pats me on the back and he goes, good luck. And I was like, good luck. I was like, are you fucking help me, Clark, help me. No, I was like, I don't want to go up anymore.
Can I have the light?
Can I have the light? Oh, I see the light. I gotta go. I'm not even gonna go up.
Was that the light? I saw the light.
I saw the light.
Was that the light?
So I was like traumatized. It wasn't that bad, but
it wasn't good.
It wasn't
It doesn't
great.
Feel good to bomb or not even get laughed. Sometimes it's not even bombing. It's just like, it wasn't fun. Funny. It wasn't good. Yeah. They didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Some 10 minutes go by so slow.
So slow. And I was like I wasn't as mortified, because I was like, okay, well, I didn't do well. But Clark didn't either, so it's the audience's fault.
Right. Like, I think it's totally fine to blame the audience sometimes. Especially it's like, man, basically the Thursday nights for a full weekend.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day it used to be I think Wednesday through Sunday, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But a full weekend, Thursday and Sundays are sometimes the funnest, because those are the people that want to just see comedy. Thursdays and Sundays are like, nah, we want to see this person. Mm-hmm. We know there's gonna be no drunk fuckery to deal with, or no one's gonna be interrupting. Thursday and Sundays are generally at a comedy club on a weekend. Are generally, if there's a headliner, feature, or host, they're generally the funnest.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturdays, the breakdown is 4, right? Friday early, Friday late, Saturday early, Saturday late. And the fuckery is like so predictable.
And then there's the late. That
11:30. If you can. But on a proper headlining weekend show, you wouldn't get a late. Laugh Factory in Chicago, they have these 3 shows on Saturday, and the late show but it's deemed the nasty show, because they're kind of like anything goes.
Anything fucking
and the
goes.
audience is prepped for that.
Yeah.
So that actually to me gives it a good buffer.
Yeah.
Because imagine if they weren't prepped, and then Tiny Thickums comes out, and they're just like, what? What is that?
Well, that's for the Saturday shows, they're prepped, but for the Friday late night shows, some of them are not prepped. And you're like,
and that's the thing, is that
ticket, though.
Right. And that's the thing, like in a proper headlining weekend, the Friday early show is like, you get the people that have been working all day, and they think they want to see comedy at 7:00, but they're really tired, so they're not the most energetic, but they're still really good, pretty decent. They're not shit-faced.
Yeah.
Friday late, same thing. They've been working all day, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get dinner, and we're gonna drink at dinner, and then we're gonna go to comedy." And there are sometimes some of the worst.
Yes.
Because Friday, it's like you actually needed a nap. Is what you should have done, but you didn't take a nap.
At this big old age, y'all need a nap.
I don't care what age you are. There's like not a lot of people that can make proper choices on a Friday night for a late comedy show at 9 o'clock or 9:30 or sometimes 10 o'clock. Yeah. And then the Saturdays are, which I'm saying all this to say, it's like as a comic, if you know these things, you learn how to adapt.
You can and prepare and prepare yourself. That's actually so real. That's very real, because anytime I am coming for like an 11:30 show, I'm like, okay, sex jokes it is, because that's sometimes the only thing that's gonna wake these fuckers up is just doing the sex shit.
Exactly. And so Saturday early show, Saturday 7 is sometimes the sweetest show you could get all weekend, because these are people who or rested, they didn't work that day, they tempered like how much they drank, because they're like 7 o'clock, we can't get too hammered, and if we want to have dinner, maybe we should do it after. Like, these are people that have their day scheduled better on a Saturday. But the Saturday late show is one of the worst fucking shows usually, because these people, they did sleep well that night. They slept well Friday night. And they woke up and they were like, well, fuck it. Our show, the comedy show, isn't until 10. You guys want to go to brunch and get shit-faced? You want to go to the baseball game and sit outside all day under the hot sun? You want to go, they jam-pack their some of them. You want to take the kids to the mall today? Like, they exhaust themselves. And then they go, oh, let's also have dinner before the comedy show. They have a big, heavy Italian dinner. And then they drink. And then they come to the comedy show and they go, 2 drink minimum. We got to keep drinking. Okay. They are hammered. They are tired. They don't listen.
I think hammered and tired is the big thing, because the funny part about the 11:30 show is like, that's the one where you're like, fuck. Typically you're like, I kind of sometimes don't want to go at first or second. 11:30 show, I'm like, please put me first. Put me first, second. Do not put me last. And thankfully I've never gone last, but I was just talking to her about this the other day. Caitlin Chekarowski had one of the best intros. She went up at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. And I was like, I have to stick around because I need to know, how does she handle this? Like, I gotta know. And she gets up there and she basically was like, you guys are tired. I'm tired. Do you want a bedtime story? She was like, what do you guys want to hear? And she goes, I think I'm going to wrap it up short. Like, I think maybe she told one fucking joke. But like at one point there was a guy in the front of the audience. He was like, I'm tired. And she goes, yeah. She goes, contractually, I have to be up here for like the next 8 minutes. Yeah. But she goes, I'm not going to put y'all through that. And I feel like there was like a sigh of relief. Like, I feel like everyone was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. But it's just, I was like, oh, that's so fascinating, because I'm always curious, how do people handle that final fucking slot? 1 a.m.
You gotta adapt. You gotta figure it out.
And I was like, that's so perfect. And she was like, yeah, they didn't want to fucking hear jokes. Yeah. She's like, why would I do a set? And I was like, that's smart.
I mean, I would disagree with that. I think she should have done her set. Yeah. But that's also old veteran me being like, just do your set. That's how you get stronger. Yeah. Throwing in the towel is not really a way to get stronger. Yeah. I think it's funny, and I think that's the other thing. Sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you look at an audience, they're like, they are done. What are we doing? You know, and those like late night shows can be brutal in that way. Yeah. But I will say that if you're at the Comedy Store doing that late night Sam Kinison spot, you would get your ass in trouble if you got off stage early. Yeah.
Oh, to be clear, she did not get off stage early, but it was just like a fun riff of like, she still did her jokes, but it was like a cute acknowledgement of like, do you want a bedtime story? Because it's very late. Right. But that's good to know that you would get in trouble. Well, yeah. Leaving early? Have people left early before?
I'm just saying, like, if you know when people give up?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, they're bombing so hard, or that it's not fun, and they just give up. Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite stories when I was bombing in front of Cat Williams, because I don't know why he wanted to sit in the front at the Comedy Store in the belly room, was Crack 'em Up Thursdays, the longest running black show at the Comedy Store. And shout out to Nichelle Murdoch. She always believed in me. And Cat Williams came in, And I've told this story before, but I was bombing so hard.
Yeah.
And the comics they didn't know me well enough to like have my back.
Yeah.
So they were also like all sour in the face and being like, she needs to, ugh.
Yeah.
And the room was pretty empty because it was early. Like Crack 'em Up has 2 segments, the early show and the late show. And the early show is usually like pretty empty.
Yeah.
Not the best. The younger comics, you know, not the when people come, they want to come. Yeah. And they usually want to come late. Yeah. Because that's usually when she gets cracking. Yeah. And all the comics doing their other spots are going to come to Crack 'em Up on Thursday afterwards. So it's like the place to be. So I was still on the early side of it, but Cat Williams was hanging out with his crew. He was all fucked up.
Yeah.
He sat in the front, and it was like, for those who don't know, if you're a comic, you should never sit in the front. No. A veteran like that, he's probably fucked up, as we know his history. Yeah. He was looking pretty messed up, which is fine. Whatever, I had to deal with it. Yeah. But the only time my set changed, because I was bombing hard. I made fun of him as the problem, and everyone like went against me because I clowned him. Yeah. And then what's it called? I got to a point where I was like, I'm going to bomb for the whole, like I was maybe a minute in. And turned the room against me because I made fun of him. But again, it was like, he shouldn't even be. And now I look back, I'm like, he should have never been sitting in the front. That's like a no-no in comedy. Yeah. And I was like, I think when I was 3 minutes, now 2 minutes or 3 minutes had passed or something like that. Yeah. I fucking did something I'd never done. And I was only a few years into comedy, maybe 5 or 6 years. I fucking took the stool and I was like, I'm sitting down if you guys, I'm going to do my time. I'm going to do these 10 minutes. You guys got 7 minutes more of me. I'm not fucking getting off just because y'all don't like me. I don't give a fuck that, whatever I said. Yeah. And that's when everybody started being like, okay, all right. That's like the first laugh I got talking about like blaming the audience, because sometimes it's like, nah, sometimes the audience is against you. Yeah. Like it could get ugly. Yeah. And I got through my set and I had a lot of like, good job, Marcella, on some like, you survived that bomb. Because black rooms, for those who don't know, black rooms can be very harsh, very critical, very judgmental, really intimidating. If you have no spine, they will make you cry. Yeah. And I had got off stage and I was like, I think I'm going to cry. I'm glad I waited. But that was one of those like, if I had got off stage, I would have lost the respect of everyone in that room. Yeah. And that's where it gets tricky because that's what people always say. It does like, I don't care. Again, like I don't agree with Jeselnik and when he said like, if you blame the audience, you're a failure. Yeah. It's like, no, if you don't respect the time, then you're a failure. Yeah. Because I definitely have I went under on an audition for a comedy club. It was like 15 minutes you're supposed to do. I think I did 13 because I was just so nervous. I was young. Yeah. And that's failing. Yeah. Like they did not give me a week and I had to wait another 6 months, re-audition, all because of 2 minutes. All because of 2 minutes. All because of 2 minutes. Because the thing is that they say, if you get off stage before your time, the headliner might not be ready. Yeah. You could end up, because a lot of people don't realize you're also never supposed to leave the stage until another person is setting foot on the stage. Like the stage should never be empty during a performance.
Wait, really? Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, those are
actually never.
Those are hardcore old school comedy rules. I know a lot of people don't know that shit.
Well, I've never heard that before. I mean, I always wait in the sense of like just for like the dab up.
Sure.
But I've never thought of it in the context.
It's like a hardcore comedy rule. You are not supposed to leave the stage empty. Never. The stage should never be empty when the show starts and stops. That's why you're not supposed to get off early because if you get off early, that might leave space for you to get off, and then there's no one there to follow you because they were also those 2 minutes. Yeah. Think about all the times you're like, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Yeah. And the person has 2 minutes left.
Had you already gotten the light at 13 minutes?
Honestly, I don't remember what happened. Yeah. But I went under.
Because I think the only time, well, not the only time, but like I think because, a lot of comics are like so afraid of running the light. That it's like, if you get the light at 2 minutes, I've definitely gotten off maybe with a minute to spare, but I think it's also because I have been there are some shows where they're like, oh, you can just give it a soft landing, so they don't mind if you go over like 30 seconds to a minute, but then there are some shows that are like, if you go more than 5 seconds, you're never coming back here again. So it's like, that type, do you think it's bad if you're like actually leaving with like a minute left in your set?
I think if you're auditioning and you're supposed to be doing 15 minutes, then you should not be getting off stage. I think what you're talking about is different. Yeah. Because I agree. Like, if you at my weekly or monthly show, I tell people, if you're doing great, you can get off stage a few minutes after. I really don't care. Yeah. I was like, but if you're not doing great, please get the fuck off of my stage in the allotted time I gave you of 8 minutes. Because I've had it where people are like feeling themselves, and instead of making the smart move of getting off, they go, I'm going to do a couple more, which I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. But bitch, when you start hitting 4 or 5 minutes and you aren't as strong as you were when I gave you that 8 minute, I gave you 8 minutes for a reason, because when I do my monthly, I want people to murder. Because I'm going to be fucking around with this is my audience, you know, they're down to clown. But I've had it where it's like, girl, you're eating into my time, you know? This is my show. These people came for me. So that shit irritates me. But like, that's what I'm saying, is there's going to be different ways that people approach it. But that's why you communicate with the, what do you like, how is it? You got, you know, because sometimes they're like, somebody just, you know, flaked. So we do have a couple minutes to spare. So feel free to, you know, that's why it's, as a comic, it's always good to communicate with whoever's running the show. Like, what the vibe is. Do you need me to keep it tight? Because I'll keep it tight. And also, don't be scared to be like, I'm working on something. Can I only do 8 minutes?
Which I've definitely have done before. I literally am like, can I just only do this time tonight, please? And
they'll be like, yeah, cool. People love to just have that communication, because it's like, they'll adapt to you if you're willing to, you know, reach out and be like, this is what I need. Are you cool with that? Again, adaptability is such an important tool, but I also feel like there's people that can't do it, and but also don't know how to do it. Yeah. But it's like, the more you experience and the more you speak up for yourself, the more you can adapt easier to what people's expectations are, and also what your expectations are for yourself.
Yeah. Have there been like certain situations where you're like, oh, I should have adapted more here. Maybe I should have adapted less there, like maybe like with like in regards to like hosting or featuring or headlining?
Yeah, I mean, when I opened for Rami Youssef in the summer, it was really cool, but I was nervous. I was genuinely nervous. I'm rarely super nervous opening for someone. I get the excitement jitters, and I think that's fine. Yeah. But I was like, I haven't performed. I don't think I've ever performed in front of such a predominantly Muslim audience. Yeah. Like women covered and and then the implication is that they're very sober. And as a comedian, I'm not used to that. Yeah. And I also was like, I was trying to adapt to what their expectations were, even though I don't know what their expectations are. Yeah. And I found myself questioning everything, because it's almost like I found myself being prejudiced on some like, I don't want to talk about sex in front of them. That's inappropriate. I don't want to talk about this or that in front of them because it's inappropriate. But it's like, why am I making that decision for them? Why don't I do the joke and see if they laugh and then adapt? Yeah. But I wasn't even willing to go that far. I only had like, I think 10 or 12 minutes. Yeah. And so I found myself, I just was like, I kind of gave up on my own set. And I was disappointed myself.
Were you the first person up? Or was there
No, I was the second person up.
Second person up. How did the
host was great, but that's because that's his guy. Oh, his guy knows his audience. Okay.
That makes sense.
And knows what they like and shit. And it was my first time. Yeah. And as much as I watch his material, it's different opening for someone because there is expectation of like, no, we're trying something different. It's going to be a little different than you don't want the same material that the headliner's doing, right? And which I know is why he was fine with me opening. But there was a moment where I just like, it was like too many sweet, innocent faces looking up at me that were completely, you could tell that, you know when people are dead sober. Yes. It's like performing in front of a college crowd. You're like, this is a little too sober for who I am as a person. I know that my style of comedy, you cannot be sober to enjoy it. You got to be a little like, that bitch is crazy. And so am I. This is fine.
No, that's so real, having to like adapt for that. And I feel you with the like prejudging. Like, it's because I've definitely done that too. And now I've tried to like have openers up top of like my set to kind of just like see what it is that they could potentially fuck with. Right. And I do that mostly with like middle-aged white audiences. Like if I'm in the suburbs or if I'm going up to Wisconsin, I'm just like, all right, let's see who I'm dealing with tonight just to try and figure out where to go. But I did used to kind of like prejudge for like a very long time and be like, well, they're not gonna like this. And then afterwards, I see them fucking with somebody else and I was like, wait a minute, I could have done that. Can I go back up? Yeah. I have jokes for you that could work. I didn't know.
I think that was the other thing because I was like, you know what? I don't know what he's doing right now on the road. Yeah. So I watched him and his subject matter, I mean, I don't want to call it risque by any means. Yeah. But, he got a little spicy with it, with how he does things. Yeah. And I was like impressed. I was like, oh, I could have done that joke. But I was glad because I also was like, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or offend any. I'm also big on like, there are certain audiences where they're never catered to.
Yeah.
And I also want to respect that I'm not taking them into consideration.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd rather do easier material. But it was also that thing of like, you know, age matters. Like people's age range matters in terms of like how they're going to accept your material. Because in my experience, it's like, of course, people that are older and with more experience are going to be more open to laughing, not always, right?
Yeah.
But someone who's younger just doesn't have the experience. Just as when I was a young comedian, I didn't have any life experience, so my material was pretty whack. Yeah. But it's like, okay, these kids, because that's how I see young, like if you're 20 years old in the face, you're a kid to me. Yeah. You know, and so I'm like, all right, this is what my issue is with Ralph's crowd. Sometimes they don't fuck with me because they're just too young, and like I'm too much, you know? But God bless headliners who like having openers who are not like them, who don't look like them, who don't talk like them. Yeah, that's so fucking important to me.
I would always get, because I've opened for like more white male comedians than I have anybody else, and like
just because there's more of them doing comedy. Let me do say that.
But sometimes like when the club has paired me up with them, I literally am like, really?
It's wild.
I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm always like, well, here's for a bomb. Like, I guess this is really for the headliner, not for me.
But you don't always bomb.
No. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But I think it's like, I have to think a lot harder about my set.
Sure.
For like those specific like headliners. But more oftentimes than not, I've always been pleasantly surprised by like the reception that I get with those certain headliners that I would think, like, I would look out into the crowd, I'm like, there's no way. Yeah. And I'm like, that's on you, bitch. You need to stop judging these people.
Yeah, that's true, like, because you also don't know what their audience is like. Yeah. And especially, I mean, Chicago's such a great city. You get a lot of open-minded people, especially the white people are the most open-minded here, in my opinion. But I had John Gabris ask me to open for him when he was out here. And I was excited because I was like, I don't know what his audience is like, but if he's asking me to open for him, that means he knows his audience either wants my material or needs my material. Yeah. Right? And I think that that's very important. I love when headliners make wise choices. Yeah. Because I definitely was like, for first audience, I was definitely like, they were down. They loved me. And the second audience was a little tougher to crack. Yeah. And there was a certain point, because someone heckled me, at a certain point, I was like, John Gabris wants me here. He doesn't know you. Yeah. And it was really funny watching the crowd kind of take that information in on some, like, the women were like, girl, get it. Yeah. You know, and the dudes were kind of on it. Some of them weren't. Yeah. But I love when it's like, you don't understand. I'm supposed to be here. That's the other thing. I have to like remind. I've told people. I've started with Ralph's crowd. I've started to tell the host, like, tell them my credit is that I'm a regular opener for Ralph. Yeah. Because it's like sometimes it's like, how do I communicate to you that I'm supposed to be here? It's almost like people think, and maybe this is pretty common thought. It's like people think that you're hired by the venue and not by the headliner, which is oftentimes true. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the headliner had no say in what type of person is opening. And I always find it interesting that sometimes the attitude with fans is like, we don't want you. We just want our headliner. And it's like, bitch, that's not how comedy works. Yeah. You know, but these younger people, why would they know that? They don't know that. They watch comedy on TikTok and they're so used to seeing like instant... The thing that they want instantly. Yeah. But it's also like, the thing I want it instantly. And I don't want anything else but that. Yeah. And I think that's the frustrating part about some of these audiences, that they're not adapting to what they're watching. And that's why I love opening for someone like Felipe, because he's been doing comedy, I don't even know how long, 30 plus years. And he has trained his audiences over the years. I will even say, because Elkhart, Indiana, I asked him, he had never been there before. Yeah. And that audience was a little tight. Yeah. But I was like, but the next time he comes here, there'll be a bigger audience. And there'll be way more, the people that are here are going to be like, oh, it's fun. And this is what to expect. Because when we were in Milwaukee the next evening, they were fucking exactly what a Felipe audience is. Just fucking down. They're early. They're looking cute. Yeah. They're ready. And they want the openers. They know the openers are going to be something. Because also Felipe is really smart in that he goes to the same cities every year or adds new cities, whatever. Yeah. But he never has the same openers 2 years in a row. Oh. And that's so smart. I wish more people put that kind of thought into into their road gigs, because a lot of times it's always the same two guys, the same two guys. And people get tired of it because the openers don't write as quickly as the headliner usually does. Yeah. And so, that 2-year buffer really helps. Yeah. But it's
really smart.
It is really smart. Yeah. And I think I wish a lot more comedians would do that. Okay, we gotta keep this moving. I wanted to, what I wanted to talk about, I guess that's true with Felipe, comics who adapt with the times. Because I feel like comics that are aging, not all of them are adapting with the times.
No, they are not. No, there was, oh my God, a nightmare of a woman that I had worked with. And I was just like so shocked to like, because she's been in the game for a minute. And I was excited to watch her. I wasn't familiar with her stuff. And I was hosting for her. And I was watching it. And
Isn't it frustrating when you are like looking forward to a weekend with someone because you're like, you've been doing this a long time. Yes. I'm so excited to see what you're up to.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And it's just been, and I think honestly what has been tagging onto this story, but I think what has been more frustrating and disheartening is like a majority of the women headliners that I've worked with have not always been the kindest to me. And I'm just like, and I don't even blame them. I'm like, this is the industry like pitting us against one another still. So I'm not even like fully mad at them, but I'm like, damn, I was like, why were all the white guys really cool with me? But like, we ain't fucking with each other. Right. That's crazy. But I was watching her stuff. I was excited.
We got to talk about that on the next one with that Carol Leifer clip. But anyways, that was a good, anyway, so we'll talk about that next time.
But I was watching her stuff and I was like, oh my God. I was like, this hasn't left the 90s. I was like, this hasn't left the 90s. And the thing is like, I thought, I was like, maybe it's just the first 5 minutes. I was like, maybe it's just the first 10 minutes. I was like, it's her whole set. And it was really just on one topic, which was like race. And I was like, even I know not to talk about race for my entire 10 minutes. Like that was earlier on where it was like, don't talk about black shit the entire time. Don't talk about gay shit the entire
time.
Adapt.
Yeah.
They want to hear other shit because they're all white.
Right.
And so I was looking out to her crowd and her crowd was like, I'd say like millennial and Gen X through and through. Half of them were confused and not really fucking with it. Some of them were. And I was like, this is kind of, and it was 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And I was like, this is like low-key embarrassing. But apparently someone had mentioned that to her before and she was so resistant to it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so like you don't want to grow and you're very like stuck in your ways. And I just was shocked because I had yet to like see that in person. I was like, somebody is trapped in the 90s. Yeah. And they're still doing it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Like, that's crazy.
Well, I also wonder if they're, maybe when they were at the peak of, whatever that material was, they weren't writing their own material, because sometimes that's how I see it. Yeah. Is it's like, because if you're not continuously writing, and I don't, look, everybody turns out material differently at different paces, at different quantities. Yeah. But it's like, I mean, you gotta write a couple new jokes every year, like to keep your act fresh at the least. I mean, shit, I still do my impressions. I've been doing almost my whole fucking career because sometimes when the audience is so bad, I just pull out the impressions. I'm like, this is why these don't live anywhere. Yeah. Because I want to be able to do them forever. And
it's so interesting that you say that, as far as like maybe she didn't write her stuff, or like comics back then didn't. Because that same show, she had I found out afterwards she had accused the opener, because I was hosting. She accused the opener of stealing her jokes. Yeah. Which I was like, I watched both sets. The opener was a bisexual white girl. Okay. I was like, and you're a biracial black woman. Oh. Also straight. Yeah. I was like, there's no stealing of... I watched both sets. Yeah. So I was like, what? Like, this is absolutely, like, insane. Yeah. And then kicked her off the show the next day. Yeah. I mean... And I was like, you're unwell. I was like, you're unwell. I was like, okay, you're unwell, and that's funny. The category we put you in. Yeah. Yeah. I have two things here. What's funny about you bringing up that that this person is like in the 90s and then accuse someone younger of stealing their material, I will say, not to say that that's what happened here, but something I have noticed is that because comedians of this new generation of comedians, because I've also noticed a few, because there's like drag queens now doing stand-up and touring, which is fine. Again, they got to make the money, honey. The money's in touring. People now, like comedians now, they are so unfamiliar with any stand-up before this
era that no one realizes how much 90s material they're doing. Because I watch so much. I mean, I grew up watching stand-up.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching people do material where I'm like, yeah, someone did that in the 90s. Like, why are you doing this material? Because people are like, I'm going to post this joke that I thought was so clever. And it's like, no, it was clever 30 years ago. Whoa. The first time 10 people did it in the 90s, because no one watches comedy. No one watches comedy. They do comedy, but they don't watch comedy, which is what frustrates me.
Yeah.
Which, if you're pulling from your own life, I get it. But if you also have a lived experience that multiple people have had, chances are that material already exists.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And it's been really frustrating, because a lot of times I see, like, you know, viral videos. And I'm like, this is a joke I saw, like, Caroline Ray do back in the day, or like other comedians from the 90s that I was like, that material has already existed, but because nobody watches old stand-up, nobody knows what actually already exists.
Well, it's actually honestly been something that I've been afraid of myself, because, like, I mean, my comedy watching only goes back, like, so far. Like, I don't watch comedy from the 90s. I should. But there's so much comedy out there now that I'm just trying to keep up with what current people are doing. I was like,
but that's what's crazy. The current people are doing shit that already exists because nobody watches old stand-up. Yeah. It's really wild.
Yeah. Well, because I've always been under the guys that, like, pretty much every premise at this point is, like, the same. It's like a recycled premise, I feel like. For a lot of things. Or, like, it's just like it's like finding, like, a different angle in, because when I'm writing, I'm like, well, I know I'm not the first person who's thought of this. So, like,
which is also what makes it funny, right? That people can relate to it.
Yeah.
But I think the problem that I have is, like, if the first draft of a joke, it seems a little too easy, it's probably because it already exists.
I feel like that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is also why I like writing topical material. Yeah. Like, especially political topical material, because I watch everyone do the same joke on Twitter or Threads or Blue Sky, and I go, okay, what is no one else saying? Let me do that joke, which is why sometimes it takes me longer to write a joke, because I'm not doing the, like, regurgitate everything. Like, this is what Josh Johnson does. He finds everything, every angle, but really what ends up happening is I'm like, well, I saw that already on Blue Sky, or I saw that perspective already. Yeah. But it's like, but the people who are watching him haven't. Yeah. So it's all new to them. Yeah. So, like, this is what happens, is how you can build material quickly. Yeah. Is that kind of state almost like facts, you know, in the guise of comedy. But that's the problem, is that nobody's evolving and growing and pushing themselves. Yeah. And this is the second part of what you were talking about, the 90s comedians, is, like, Lori Kilmartin is, like, my favorite person, because that bitch has evolved with the times. And I feel like, and I think this is true for a lot of comedians, if they have kids, it's usually the kid pushing them forward in the same way that we have pushed our parents forward in thought and conversation. Yeah. But I love watching Lori because she has adapted with the times. Like, when Twitter was popping, she was like, all right, I'm going to take all these old monologue jokes from Conan that got rejected today and just put them on Twitter. Yeah. And it's like, that's a great way to stay in with the time, adapt to the times, which is whatever social media is cracking. Like, right now, she's now making front-facing videos, doing her thing that way. And I love it. I'm like, good. You have to adapt with the times. You have to change. She has many specials and recordings, and she has one or two books out. Support Lori Kilmartin, especially now that she has an 18-year-old and she doesn't have to be at home all the time. She can fully tour. That's incredible. She can fully tour. That was the one thing when she was my mentor. She was like, live the grimy comedian lifestyle as long as possible. She's like, I couldn't. I wish. She's like, I see your weekends. She's like, because that was back when I was opening for hella people on the road all the time, just opening. It was so fun. And she was like, keep doing that. Yeah. She's like, one day you will physically not be able to do that. So just do it all now. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I never thought about it that way. I'm glad to have, this is why you talk to people that are older than you, because you get these perspectives. You're like, shit, I never thought about, one day my back's going to hurt.
Which is like so great. Yeah. So I always love it when comedians who have been in the game for a while will talk to me about things, because I'm like, but I just want to learn. Right. I don't want to make mistakes.
Right. And I mean, I wish I would have had more of that. Like, there is no mentorship happening. There is. No. I mean, that's why comedy is so fucked off right now. Yeah. Because with Joe Rogan, that's a great example of someone who, he comes off as a mentor to some of these comics, but he's not. He's not. And same with, like, Tony. Like, they come off as, like, oh no, come sit with me, I'll tell you some tales. But in reality, they're not doing anything. They're exploiting you and they're taking advantage of you and yada yada. I find that also interesting. But who I will say adapted well with the times is Bill Burr. That's someone who his latest special, you said you hadn't watched it.
I hadn't watched his latest special.
No, but it's so good. I recommend it to everyone, especially because the last few weren't like, to me, they weren't like, there was nothing big about them.
Yeah.
This one was like, dude, this dude talked about some shit that I didn't think he would ever talk about. Or I would have never guessed that he would talk about.
I did see some clips and then I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to fuck with this.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's My Drop Dead Years on Hulu, I believe it's called. And it was one of those like, oh, I love that he's growing. I just love when people grow, but I certainly love when men grow, especially when their audience is predominantly men. I'm like, thank you for being the voice, because these men need someone. They don't have someone, and you're helping them grow. I mean, he talks about something which I won't spoil, but if you watched it, at the very end, he touches on something that you're like, excuse me? And he doesn't get into it much. And I'm like, I hope on the next special you get into that, because that's crazy that you just dropped that information and then moved on and then ended your set. It was so weird, but in like a good weird, in that like, I want more.
I wonder like what his audience thought, like going to like see that special or like watch his special, like if it was like so drastically different or like with the growth.
What's funny? Like, he's one of the few, because I am friends with him. Thank you very much. And it's been cool to have that relationship, but I also love maintaining my fan relationship. In that I will still go pay and sit in an audience without his knowledge. And just, I'm like, no, I want to sit amongst the people and hear what's working here, what's not working. I've seen him live quite a few times. Like we saw him in Vegas once, and that was hilarious because it was 4 of us. It was my friend Sandy, my friend Rosie, and Lydia Popovich, another great comedian. And we it's Vegas, so we got dressed to the nines. And we got to this Bill Burr show, and people were looking at us like we were just dumb, confused whores. They're all in their best cargo gear. Because these people do not get dressed up. I don't know why people don't get dressed. I'm like, you pay money to see this person, and you're not going to get like, you can put dressed a cute outfit on. All right, whatever. This is not your living room, but okay. That's your standard.
For a lot of people, though, it is their living. At this point with comedy, a lot of people,
it's disgusting. I really hate it. I really hate how disgusting people look, especially in Chicago. But what are you going to do? I'll breeze over that. We'll get into that another time. We don't have time. We don't have time to get into that. But
we're gonna circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back on that one. But it was interesting what people were laughing at, what they weren't laughing at. It's like people just have selective hearing with some of his material. It was something we noticed in San Jose because in San Jose, same thing where the laughter was what it was. But San Jose, when we saw him afterwards, we were like, I forget it was. I think we lost some people because they went to use the bathroom and it was like crazy. So we stepped out. We were waiting for them. But as I was waiting for them, people were like, he's changed. He's getting soft. And in my head, I was like, no, dude, you're a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
You're a loser maniac.
He's changed, but soft. Bill Burr's getting soft.
Men are unwell. Men refuse to adapt.
That's insane.
Yeah, men refuse.
But honestly, good for Bill, though. Like,
I think it's great.
That's incredible. No,
he's also been
agree.
pretty vocal recently about being like, I don't want fans that are like ignorant, racist, dumb assholes. Like, I just can't do it. Like, we know when you're young, especially men, they're like, I'll give my friend a pass. Like, but then at a certain point, you go like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he had fans like that. And he's just like, I don't want these fans.
I do appreciate going to see comedy shows like that because I can't view comedy in the same, like if I'm on the show, I can't view it in the same way as if I'm just like coming off the street, bought a ticket or whatever, and I'm in the audience. Like I don't know if that happens to you, but I'm analyzing it if I'm on the show, but if I'm just watching it, I'm analyzing it in a different way. I am analyzing it in a different way, but now I've been doing comedy long enough that I'm like, no, this person, I want to sit and watch them. Okay. And I it's very few and far between. There's like a handful of people, maybe Laura Keitlinger, Lori Kilmartin as well, Bill Burr. There's like a handful of people that I'm like, no, I want to sit and watch and not analyze. But I also I need to be in that mindset of like, no, this is a night out. I want to have a good time. But you can't deny that like you're going to notice what people groan at and what people don't like. And that's when your ears start being like, this is interesting. You're like, this is what people are fucking with. That's dope.
So with that, comedy is dead because of adaptability.
Sure is.
And sure is. And that's this is our second episode. So thanks for tuning in. Comedy is dead with Marcella Arguello. And
Chloe Mikala.
And like and subscribe, follow, leave a comment, tell a friend, learn about comedy, get better at comedy. Bye.
Bye.